Although they are an endangered species, you can count the eagles at the Chippewa Dam. There were 6 of them there today, soaring and gliding and perching in trees. These birds are tourists, vacationers from Canada and Maine. You might say they've flown south for the winter. There was a time when the bald eagle had a permanent home here in Connecticut, but that was more than 50 years ago, before people and progress drove them away, before Northeast Utilities built a dam along the Housatonic River. Ironically, it's the dam that's now helping to bring the bald eagle back.
When the dam's running, it brings the fish up to the surface, and it's easier for them to catch because the water never freezes up, and there's a lot of quantity of fish.
Right above this tree line, it's on this side of the river, but it's on the other side. Everybody have a different reaction?
They're beautiful.
Eagles aren't the only tourists around Chippewa these days.
The eagle has landed.
Is that the eagle that just landed?
Yeah.
Northeast Utilities has built an observation post where hundreds come each day hoping to see an eagle soar. They come with telescopes and telephoto lenses, for this is the only place to view the eagles. Few leave disappointed.
Actually, it makes me think about Ben Franklin, how he won the turkey as the national bird. I said, gee, thank God he didn't do that. We'd be eating eagles for Thanksgiving.
The eagles come to Connecticut each year in December and leave in early March. Those who came to view them this year left with memories they will never forget.
To see them in flight and to have them so close to us, and they're an endangered species, and it's really quite wonderful. I really am quite moved by it.
Ginny-Musante, Channel 3, Eyewitness News, Southbury. He was the littlest of little children, only a few hours old. Yet his brief life and death touched the soul of this community.
I know how good it is to be able to live and be able to do things, and I feel bad for him, and I felt it was an honor to be able to come sing for him today.
Most of us are parents or will be parents, and this little child touched each one of us because it made us all think about our own, and he is one of our own.
Meriden police adopted the infant and named him David Paul, which means beloved little man.
He had known the warmth of his mother's womb for 9 months and felt the comfort of her body protecting him from harm, never once sensing that this was the only true feeling of security he would receive in this world.
He died alone, tucked in a little pink blanket, abandoned, left to the elements on a cold winter night when his plaintive cries could not be heard.
Things like this, it's a long ways from being right. I'm touched, saddened.
If he were able to talk, I'm sure he would have asked, "Why, Mother? I need you. Please, don't leave me." David Paul, we too ask why.
Those who came to pay their respects were mourning not just for David Paul, but for all neglected children.
Now you are with your Maker, an angel in the presence of God, where no one can harm you.
Ginny-Musante, Channel 3, Eyewitness News, Meriden.
Farewell, little man. God bless you.
I think it's the worst thing that could ever happen to this place. I just don't care for it, that's all.
We don't bother them in their places. I'm not a chauvinist, no, I'm far from it. But I've reached the point where I want to be left alone.
4 of the 7 men who live at the Bacon-Hinckley home consider it an invasion. They say they can't relax or be themselves if women are around.
Because males, they like to get together and use a few profanity, and you can't do that in mixed company.
Even the home's benefactors might roll in their graves if they knew what was going on. You see, in their wills, Mr. Bacon and Mr. Hinckley set aside funds specifically for the purpose of establishing a home for elderly men.
I would like to believe that those men were good, solid businessmen and would be ready to change with the times.
Times are such that not enough men are eligible or willing to move in. The building, which can accommodate up to 14 people, houses only 7. So at the request of the trustees, a judge changed the wills to allow women in.
We have women in here. It's going to bust up the shower system. It's going, oh, I don't know. There's so many things against it.
I think he's got his head stuck in the mud like an ostrich. I think it's great to have a woman around, or 2 or 3.
The trustees say that's just a matter of time. The men who are opposed admit they may have to live with the ladies, but they don't have to like it.
No woman is going to change my mind about anything.
Ginny-Musante, Channel 3, Eyewitness News.
Very consistent, day in and day out. He is innocent. He is.
Opinions about Oliver North flow as freely as the beer at the only bar in Philmont, New York. In fact, it is the mayor of Philmont who pours the beer here, and he's been pouring a lot lately. There's hardly been an empty seat at the bar since the Iran-Contra hearings began.
Well, just Ellie North. I mean, he's our friend. He's our local hometown boy, and we call him Larry here.
Larry North's longtime teacher and high school track coach didn't make it to the mayor's place today. He had to paint his house. So he listened to Larry on the radio.
He was a plugger. He tried hard and he put everything behind it that he could. And I think he achieved beyond his probably capacity.
When Oliver North was in school, was he as good at answering questions then as he is now?
He was a good kid.
When you talk to folks in this quaint town of about 1,500 people, you kind of get the sense that nothing much happens here in downtown Philmont. You also get the sense that nothing much has changed since 1961, since Oliver North graduated from Aquawamick High School. Sacred Heart Church, where he served as an altar boy, still stands at the top of the hill. But these days, collections in Philmont aren't for the church. They're for the Oliver North Defense Fund.
Well, I'll donate $100 for his defense right now. You want it now?
And at the soda counter where we used to hang out, they've started a campaign. Ollie North for president.
Everybody speaks very highly of him. I'd like to see him president. I think he'd be a great president.
And back at the bar, well, there's talk of a celebration. The mayor is hoping to have the local boy back for Larry North Day.
I think he's a hero.
Ginny-Musante, Channel 3, Eyewitness News, Philmont, New York. Following a moment of silence, the Windsor Warriors took to the field. And they played, some say, better than they have played all year.
Don't let him inside, Curtis!
The spirit's up high, real high. They're playing for him today. That's what they're doing today, is playing for him.
They're going to win. We're going to win for Norman.
18-year-old Norman Edwards died October 5th as a result of injuries sustained during practice.
Norman, he was a real good person. You know, we all loved him.
Every member of the Windsor team had Norman's number printed on their helmets, and the Bloomfield team dedicated this game to his memory.
To Norman's parents and the entire Windsor High School family, we are aware that there are no words which are appropriate, but please know that we join you in your grief.
When the game ended, Windsor had won, 52-20. But today's game was not about the power of one team over another. It was about the power of love. Ginny-Musante, Channel 3, Eyewitness News, Bloomfield.
Channel 3's Ginny-Musante is joining us live right now with an update. Ginny.
Denise, Pat, to call this race interesting is certainly an understatement. It's a race in which Connecticut's youngest and only Republican big city mayor, 28-year-old Joseph Santopietro, is fighting to keep his job in a city that is 3-1 Democratic. It's a race that pits a history teacher, David Bizzuto, against his former student. It's a race that the experts predict will draw a record 65% of the registered voters out to the poll. The only thing the experts here aren't predicting is who's going to win.
Channel 3's Ginny-Musante is among those who have dodged the showers today, and she can tell us a bit about the goodies. Ginny?
Pat, I don't know if your eating habits are anything like mine, but if they are, then you'll understand when I say that today's sloppy weather is somehow appropriate as we break out our bibs and prepare for a weekend-long feeding frenzy at this, the 6th annual Taste of Hartford.
So, come and get it.
Now, in addition to the food, there are all kinds of entertainment and activities taking place over the 4 days of the Taste. On Saturday and Sunday, Channel 3 will be auditioning talent, so to speak, at a special for kids' sake booth. Kids can come by, appear on camera, and Pat, kind of get a feel for what it might be like to have your job or mine.
All right. Nice to know open auditions this weekend. Thank you, Ginny.
This wasn't the greatest crowd that the Greater Hartford Open has ever seen, but it was the greatest crowd we've seen so far this week. I talked with the police chief here in Cromwell. He estimates that as many as 60,000 people turned out here at the TPC today. They came, as you said, for the sun and for the fun and for the food. But most of the people I talked to said they came because today was a good day to see some great golf.
Channel 3's Ginny-Musante joins us live from CBS after a day of following the candidates. Ginny.
Denise, Jerry, there's a phrase here in New York, they call it pulling a Jessie, and that's exactly what all 3 Democratic hopefuls did today. Now, pulling a Jessie is putting in a 16 or 17-hour day of campaigning, and Governor Michael Dukakis put in the most grueling day. He was in Buffalo, Manhattan, Rochester, and Brooklyn, in that order.
Now it's time to win the nomination.
In 1981, the dropout rate here at Hartford High School was 15.5%, and many of the dropouts were kids just like Hector and Lydia, older than most of their classmates, embarrassed by past failures, and frustrated by a lack of opportunity in their future. The attack probably took place in the front of the house. A trail of blood leads along the sidewalk, and police theorize that the assailant probably carried the victim out back and then dumped the body in the pile of trash. You know, according to their trainer, pigs are actually very intelligent animals, far more intelligent than horses or dogs. Dogs have to chase a rabbit around the track. A horse needs a jockey to guide them. But all that a pig needs is an Oreo cookie. That's my knee you're biting. Here, have an Oreo. Is he going to choke me?
No. He'll probably caress you, but he won't choke you.
And that's because he likes the warmth?
I would imagine so.
So... I tell you, there are times when the wind whips right through you, but there are other times when you actually forget about the cold. You're having so much fun.